Time now to turn back to meteorologist Clay Smith in the Storm Alert Center. And Clay, we were talking about things better this morning, looking a lot better than they did last night. But you are starting us off with some of those pictures from the storm.
Yeah, it was a very busy Tuesday evening for us, Latrice, and you can see the ominous skies over Sequatchie County as these storms rolled through. This was sent in by Mike Madalena. It just looks very angry out there, and that's right before those winds really started to pick up, and we had some widespread wind damage across the Tennessee Valley. A lot of trees down, some power lines down, but fortunately things are quiet and power is starting to come back on in those areas that lost it for long periods of time. So we are quiet for now. We're tracking this area of storms to our north that may sneak into the area a little bit later on this afternoon into the evening, and we're also tracking this complex of storms. So that's been the pattern. We have strong high pressure down here into Texas, and the storms are kind of riding on the outer edge of that high pressure, and that's why everything's coming from the northwest, and we could see that again today. But check out these storm reports. Wind damage from Murphy to Pikeville down into North Georgia. So this was a pretty widespread event for us here across the Tennessee Valley. I know as I was driving to work earlier this morning, you can still see some of the debris on some of the secondary roads, but fortunately things are improving now, and we still are tracking some power outages. Nearly 2,000 without power in Hamilton County. Look at that, Gomer County still with 7,000 outages. So fortunately these numbers are improving and have improved a lot since this morning, but we still have a little bit of work to do, and we are tracking the potential for more strong to severe storms as we get into your afternoon and evening. Just a level 1 out of 5 risk, but it is something to be mindful of because any storm that develops could be strong enough and have damaging wind gusts. That's going to be our primary concern once again. And the National Weather Service also extended the flash flood watch until 5 o'clock Thursday. So this was in effect until Wednesday morning. They pushed it all the way to tomorrow. So again, we could have some locally heavy rainfall, and with the ground already becoming relatively saturated, we could start to have some of those issues. But for your temperatures, taking a bit to rebound. We're still in the lower 80s, but the heat index starting to climb into the upper 80s to even 90s down into Scottsboro and Fort Payne. So the heat's going to really start to build over the next couple of hours, and we should top out around 94, 95 degrees. The heat index potentially pushing upwards of 105 by this evening as you're heading home from work. So it is going to be hot, and tomorrow even hotter. So here's a look at the pattern. We have high pressure once again in Texas. That's helping steer those storms, but it's also starting to strengthen and expand, and we're seeing those heat advisories expanded all the way to the East Coast. Excessive heat warnings along the Mississippi River. Now these areas in pink, that's where you could have a heat index as high as 110 to even 115 degrees, if you could even imagine that. And I've lived in the Mississippi Delta. Trust me, it is not fun when the heat index is 115. As we take a look at your futurecast, again, pop-up storms going to be possible. And we're going to watch those areas to our north as they're trying to move in our direction. And yesterday, short-term models didn't handle this setup very well, so you can't take this too seriously because we're going to have that potential for some of those storms coming in from the north. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the radar, and then going into your Thursday, not a whole lot going on, just a couple of showers and storms here and there, but I think we are going to start to trend a little bit drier. Now tracking the tropics, again, it's been quiet for the last several weeks, but we are watching this area of low pressure just off of the coast of Puerto Rico. That's going to come into pretty favorable waters for development. We're giving it about a 60% chance of development along the Carolina coastline down into the Bahamas and the peninsula of Florida. So this could impact places like Florida heading into the weekend, as this high pressure is going to steer it right up the East Coast. So we'll watch that pretty closely. Next storm up on the list would be Debbie. So typically in August and September, hurricane season starts to ramp up, so we'll keep you updated here at Local 3. Taking a look at that 7-day forecast. Showers and storms Friday into Saturday, then we dry out and stay hot through next week. Latrice?